on Searcy.
Bringing you love, peace, and soul.
How you like me now? How you like me now?
All right, it's a Tuesday, and that can only mean one thing. Our exceedingly hip coach, Dave Campo, has joined the show with his Beats headset on. We're fired up to talk a little Jags, a little college ball, get you involved, of course. Matt Hazley on Searcy, JJ running the show, and, of course, Dave Campo, former NFL head coach Dave Campo, has joined the show here on Tuesdays. It's a Beaver Toyota, Beaver Chevy Tuesday, and we're going to talk Jags right out of the gate. Dave, day one OTAs, what stands out for you?
Well, first of all, the one thing that stands out is I wasn't there.
Right, but tell everyone where you were.
Unfortunately,
fortunately.
I was at the J Fund supporting Tom Coughlin's J Fund, and the tournament was actually yesterday. But the thing,
The good news there being,
yeah,
that they raised almost $1 million.
$970,000. This community
is unreal.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons we came back here. To be perfectly honest with you, because we've been, I coached all over the country, and I had an opportunity. I've got kids in Dallas, I got kids in Arkansas, but we came back here because of the people here. Mm-hmm. The community is fantastic. And listen, two of the pro teams I coached for, the Cleveland Browns and the Jacksonville Jaguars, it's been a struggle for the fan base in both of those cities. And this city has stuck with the Jaguars and through thick and thin, and a lot more thin than thick. And to me, that shows what this community is all about. And when there's a need out there, I think people come through, and they did, obviously, $970,000 at one gala and one tournament is unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, and Leon, you talked about that too, like why you came back here, like this city.
Yeah.
And we talk about this all the time. If anybody deserves a championship team, it's these long-suffering fans.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. And what's the most frustrating thing about that is that the team has been non-responsive for the vast majority of the decade and a half that, we've been abyss, as far as making the playoffs and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, it's about time for this team to respond accordingly, because this fan base is on point, on time with the Jaguars, whether they're good, bad, or ugly. And we've seen a lot more ugly.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And in that vein, day one of the OTAs, and I know you weren't there, but you saw some video of it. Obviously, you read the transcript. You've heard the transcript. We're going to play some for you. Get your thoughts on that. Right out of the gate, I think we need to talk about Trevor Lawrence, because the quarterback is saying that he's not even intimating. He's saying that there have been teaching moments already. There's already been a situation where they've come to him and said, hey, your footwork isn't right. Your footwork needs to be this. And it's impressive, I think, that he's not only saying that look, this is where we are, but that he's now showing that, he's understanding, and this is what he has to do. JJ, do you have the sound of that? Let's play that real quick.
Some fundamental stuff that I agree with, that we've watched kind of throughout the offseason, and said, hey, this is some stuff that I can work on to make me better, more accurate, a little bit more on time, and all this stuff, transfer my weight a little bit better. Then there's stuff that's just kind of system based, that's different, as far as the starting point of my stance, flipping that, which changes how you drop, so that was a big change, but that's more of the system and kind of what the system prefers. And I agree with a lot of that, or all that stuff, and I think it's helped me. But so it's a little bit of both, if that answers your question. And it's really specific as far as the concepts go, with footwork and the details, and all that stuff is just kind of knowing and drilling my feet. So when I hear the call and I do it, I'm not thinking, all right, what's my drop? It's just, you've done it so many times, you don't think about it.
Yeah, first off, great catch by Trevor. Instead of I agree with a lot of that. He quickly said, I agree with all of that. For you, Dave, you have been very adamant about, and Leona said the same thing, you feel like this group of coaches are going to be teachers, are going to be guys that are going to get down and dirty with these guys, go over film. They have said that. They've said it publicly.
Yep.
They're going to go over film, and they're going to show them what's wrong, but give them the answers to do what's right.
Yeah, and I thought Leon, before the show started, made the comment. why don't you hit that comment, Leon, about how when you said that they've told him what to do, now it's on him.
Yeah, what Trevor was talking about yesterday, he was talking. Well, he said he had the answers to the tests. All right, now when you're a quarterback and you say that kind of stuff, you have the answer to the test. You're assessing that it's on me now. All right, he said that last year that it was problematic and they didn't have an answer for it. So now he's saying this year with this system, with the coaching staff put together, they're letting him know how to get out of the difficult situation. So he has an answer for every defense, coverage, whatever. Essentially he can counter
He's
whatever.
got the key to the test.
He has the key to the mint.
Yeah.
He does. So now when you say that kind of stuff, you come out and you gesture that you have the answers to the test. Now, ain't gonna be no more failing grades.
Yeah,
Can't be no more failing grades.
I think what his point last year was they got to the line of scrimmage, they were in a play, and he was locked in.
Yeah.
He was locked in.
Right.
There were a few answers. And I think that's the key now, Dave, where he says, and we'll play this sound later. We'll play it coming back from next break. He has answers now, which is, if you're a quarterback, that's really all you're asking for. And if you're a quarterback coach, if you're a head coach, that's really the number one thing you want. You want a guy to go to the line of scrimmage, see, all right, we are in the wrong play, we're about ready to lose yards here, and to get you into the right play, right?
Yeah, there's no question about that, because I'll guarantee you that, you can try to disguise all you want on defense, but in reality, you can only do so many things. If you do a good job of studying, you understand what they do. They're a big team that makes it look like the safety's dropping down over there, and 85% of the time that means they're going to rotate the other way to make you think he's over here. Those kind of things make a difference, and a lot of it is based on, can I change the play based on what I see out there? And I think that's important. But going back to the footwork part of it, people ask me all the time, Matt, about, the game has changed.
Right.
There are all these extra wide receivers on the field. They're throwing the ball around more. They're doing this and that. The game has not changed. It's a fundamental game, and it's blocking, tackling, and fundamentals. How a defensive back pedals, or whether he's going to side pedal, or whether he's going to press, there's fundamentals to it. Well, teachers have to take care of that. You can't just throw a guy out there and say, press the guy. Well, it's the same thing with the quarterback. It's all timing. It's timing. If your stance is screwed up, this is what I can't understand. This is what this is going to be his fifth year in the league.
Yeah. Year 5.
I can't understand how. Now, I guess systems are different. I mean, there are some that are more involved with timing than others. I get, which I know. I mean, but
Sure.
But the fundamental part of the game, you've got to work at the fundamentals, or else you're not going to be a good football team. It's very simple to me at every position.
Well, Coach, I mean, that has to be an indictment on the previous regime. I mean, because you let Trevor wing it. You let him wing it.
Yeah.
You let him be relying on talent alone, even though you saw. That's what you was talking about. You was talking about last year. Why doesn't this coaching staff come down on Trevor as far as his football, his timing, and all that kind of stuff? I mean, because it seems like to me they was just allowing. He was winging it, to be quite honest with you. Because this regime, they come in and they watch the same film that the last regime watched, and right there they can make an assessment. Hey, Trevor, your footwork is awful. It's terrible. Especially if you're going to run this system, this offense that we're going to run, you're going to have to work on it. That was the first thing that Liam said in the presser, that Trevor has to work on his footwork.
Yeah.
I mean, so that's and listen, there are always parting shots. I mean, Trevor took a shot at him because he said he has answers to the test. Well, last year he didn't, and all that. Everybody takes their shots like that, but it has to be. That's an indictment on the previous regime that you always said, why didn't they coach hard on Trevor?
Yeah.
Instead of allow him to just use talent alone.
Right.
And that's, for example, I could take a guy off the street and tell him, drop 5 yards, five steps, and throw the football. Now, he may not be a very good thrower, but I'm not teaching him a thing. Or this is going to be this guy's going to run a square in, this guy's run a post, go ahead and do it. Well, the teaching part of it is what they've shown me just by what they talk about. When you come out and say, we're working on the guy's footwork, that means they're teaching.
Right.
They're teaching the guy, and they're making it repetition. Leon talks about all the time about how important the reps are, every single rep. Well, footwork, you can work on. I think he said that he's been working on it
Oh yeah.
prior to going to the OTAs.
You could see it in OTAs too when they were doing individual stuff. They
Yeah,
were working
but
on
I'm
footwork.
sure he's been working on those footwork things from the day he came in. I guarantee you, they took him, put the film on. I did the same thing with Rasheem Mathis when I came here. A new corner. I came in, I say, all right, here you go, buddy. There's the film. Here's the things that you did poorly, because I already know the things you did well, and so do you. Let's get this figured out. That's the teaching part of it, and that's what excites me.
Tom Coughlin did the same thing to me. When I came from Pittsburgh, came to Jacksonville, I was an ascending All-Pro, young All-Pro offensive lineman. And middle through the season, Tom Coughlin came up to me and said, "Look, Leon, I'm watching the film right now. You're big, you're powerful, you're strong, you're fast. You got to finish.
Yeah.
You got to learn how to finish." He said, "You can't," because my whole game was come off the ball, try to knock you out with one blow.
Right.
All right. He said, "Leon, you just got to finish." He said, "You're big, you're fast, you're powerful. You come off the ball, you're lethal in those type of respects, but just finish."
Did you
And-
know that, or did it kind of light kind of shine?
Because when I was with the Steelers, our offense was built around the run game. So everything I did, but our game here in Jacksonville was a little bit more settling to where I had to work a little bit. I just had to work. I had to finish a little bit better in Jacksonville because the plays were more complex, outside zone, this, that. In Pittsburgh, everything was in traps.
Just powered.
Yeah, just power, trap,
Right.
lead, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
These plays were more outside and all that kind of stuff. So the intricacy, what's the word?
Intricacy.
Intricacy.
You got
Thank you, Coach. I went to my.
You were close.
Yeah, we're different in Jacksonville. So yeah, he told me straight up. He said, "Leon, you big pass. You just got to finish." So I needed to hear that from Tom Coughlin because even though I had come in with the accolades or whatever, I still needed to hear that. So now I could instill something to continue to work on my game.
It's interesting you should say that. I'm going to ask this real quick, then we're going to go to break. But you were in the league for 4 years before you got here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So this was year 5 when you got
5,
here.
yep, it was.
All right. When you first heard that from Tom Coughlin, did you say? Did part of you say, "Well, I've got this far"?
Well, initially it was insulting because this was a second-year team, and I just come from a Super Bowl. And I'm like, you telling me I just played the Super Bowl?
All right, so now my question to you is this then, and this to you as well, Dave, is if you're Trevor Lawrence and you're thinking, man, I've been successful everywhere I've been. And this guy, not Liam Cohen, Doug Peterson, whoever, Urban Meyer, he's going to try and tell me my footwork's not good?
Yeah.
Well,
you got to be a team player. You got to take it.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So do you think at this point now you're at year 5 and someone's telling you that, at some point you got to say, all right, right? You got to say, all right.
You got to take it.
Yeah, you got to take it.
You got to take it on the chin.
If I was coaching Leon, okay, I get this asked to me all the time. How did you deal with guys that made more money than you did, and they're Leon's size, and I'm my size?
Right.
Coaching is teaching, but it's also sales. It's how you approach. When I'm coaching Leon, I'm gonna sell him. If you buy in, here's what's going to happen.
Right.
Okay, and then I'm going to say, you see this ring I got here? They bought in. Okay, so my point is, it's about sales as well. And the first thought that Leon had, I'm sure Trevor had the same thought, but it's just how it's presented. And I guarantee you that Liam took Baker Mayfield, showed him something when he first started, and show him where he finished.
Right. Right.
Well, hey, if he can do that for Baker Mayfield, he can do it for me. That's the sales part of it, and it's all. That's all it is. A coach is selling the system. He's selling the technique. He's selling his knowledge. You got to have the knowledge, and you have to have some skins on the wall.
I like this. In fact, we're going to delve into this in the next segment because there's a lot of 4, 5, 6-year guys that might need a little shakeup in their routine right about now, and guys that if they get that shakeup could really help this team win some games this fall. All right, it's a Beaver Toyota, Beaver Chevy Tuesday here on XLP. Come back on the other side.
About time you guys got here. That pretty lady in there is causing all kinds of hell.
Wherever there's a tailgate,
You can't win.
That's where you'll find Lauren Brooks.
Will you marry me?
Nope.
Weekdays noon to 2
This is a riot.
on 1010XL.
Need fresh and flavorful lunch? Chicken Salad Chick has scratch-made Southern-style chicken salad in every bite. It's quick and delicious, so why wait? Come taste the best chicken salad today at Town Center, Durbin Park, or Butler Point at Chicken Salad Chick.
Where does Northeast Florida buy cars? Arlington Toyota. Why Arlington? Selection. Arlington has over 800 new and used vehicles all in one location with everyday low prices. Plus, right now you choose a pre-owned 2023 Camry, RAV4, Tacoma for $0 down and only $388 per month. Or how about no payments till January 2026? Shop in person on Atlantic Boulevard, just a quarter-mile east of 295, or online anytime at arlingtontoyota.com.
Get a healthy start in 2025. The Florida Department of Health in Duval County is here to encourage you to get healthy and stay healthy this year. They have a dedicated team who are committed to providing quality care. The goal is to protect, promote, and improve the health of you and your family. Visit duval.floridahealth.gov to learn more about their health programs and services. That's duval.floridahealth.gov.
Jacksonville, you know a good defense wins games, and a good fence protects your home. Frank Frangie here. Coil Fencing has been around the block since 1927. Literally, they probably fenced it too. From tough chain length to sleek aluminum fences your HOA will love, Coil is the name to trust. Nearly a century strong and still standing tall. Call Coil today. You can trust them. Call 904-356-4821 or visit coiljacks.com. That's COYLE Jacks.com.
It's tune-up time, and Florida Home AC, the official AC partner of the Jaguars, wants to partner with you for a cool summer season. Tune up your AC unit right now so it's running at peak performance when you need it most. Just call 777-4300 and order a tune-up for just $59. Keep your unit humming at optimal level. Log on to FloridaHomeAC.com and take advantage of their savings. Keep cool with Florida Home AC. That's 777-4300.
Judge swings the gavel and I pound the hammer. I'm not judging, just hammering. Hammer Time with Hayes Carlyon, weekdays on The Frangie Show.
Hammer Time with Hayes, driven by Southside Kia on 1010XL.
Want your son or daughter to enjoy sports year-round? Then log on to i9sports.com with summer and fall registration open right now, including girls volleyball at Duval Charter Bay Meadows, plus plenty of other spots and sports on the First Coast. i9sports.com. Enter 1010 for a discount.
As down payments get bigger, millions of renters across America feel like they'll never be able to buy a home. So instead of lowering expectations, Rocket Mortgage is lowering down payments to 1% for eligible home buyers with One Plus, helping more renters become owners. Call 800-4ROCKET or visit rocket.com to get a head start on your starter home.
Rocket Mortgage, LLC, licensed in all 50 states. NMLSconsumeraccess.org, number 3030.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes here with a challenge. A challenge might not be the best choice in words, so let's say an opportunity. Take the opportunity to lose 40 by the 4th with Awaken 180. It sounds a little different when you put a real goal to it, doesn't it? Maybe you looked at the scale this morning and it read 230 pounds. How about it reading 190 by the 4th? Maybe the scale says 300. Wouldn't the number 260 be a little nicer on your eyes and on your joints? It's attainable if you have the same results we all had with Awaken 180. I dropped 40 pounds in 9 weeks. Hacker dropped his first 40 in just 6 weeks. Dempsey, Blue, and everyone else I know, same results. And we've kept it off. The best thing about Awaken 180 weight loss, it will completely change the way you think, see, and feel about food. The results are real, attainable, and the process simple with Awaken 180. Take the opportunity and drop 40 by the 4th. It all starts with just one call to Awaken 180 weight loss. Call 844-346-1800 or online at awaken180weightloss.com.
New and pre-owned firearms are in stock at Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach. Want a new sidearm or rifle? Brands like Kimber, Smith & Wesson, 6 Hour, Beretta. No lines, no hassle. Only at Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach.
Hi, I'm Karen, owner of Clay Solar Installation Partners, your local woman-owned solar company. Did you hear? JEA is raising rates again. With summer right around the corner, those power bills are only going to go up. But with solar, you can take control of energy costs and say goodbye to rising rates. At Clay Solar, we make switching easy and affordable. Stop paying more for power and own it. Visit claysolar.com to schedule a consultation today.
Are you ready to reclaim your backyard? Serving Northeast Florida since 1977, Surfside Pools is the trusted name for expert pool design. Family owned and operated, they offer pool service, equipment repairs, commercial maintenance, remodels, and new pool construction. Let Surfside Pools transform your backyard into the oasis that you crave. Are you ready to float happy? Visit surfsidepools.net or call 246-2666. Surfside Pools and Spas, where luxury meets leisure.
License number CPC 044080.
Summer in Jacksonville is coming in hot. Lauren Brooks here. Beat the heat with Turbo Tint. Their window tint blocks up to 99% of harmful UV rays and keeps your ride cool and comfortable. Book today at orangepark.turbotint.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. This is XL Primetime, brought to you by Florida Home AC. Now that's cool on 1010XL.
All right, we're back on XLP. It's a Toyota Beaver Chevy Tuesday here. Matt Hayes, Leon Cersei, JJ running the show. Our coach Dave Campo is here. Josie on vacation for the week. Well-deserved vacation for Josie. All right, when we left off, I wanted to get both of you guys, because Leon brought it up, how he came here and he had to learn different things, and Trevor has spoken about how they're teaching him about footwork. And I started thinking, the more and more I'm thinking, looking at this roster, and I'm thinking, there are a lot of guys at that 4, 5, 6 year mark, a couple guys even at 7-year mark, that there could be like a little pushback. I mean, let's Trevor Lawrence, 5th year, ETN, 5th year, Walker Little, 5th year, Ezra Cleveland, 6th year, Josh Hines Allen, 7, Devon Hamilton, 5, Trayvon Walker, 4, Devin Lloyd, 5. These are guys right there where Leon was. Tyson Campbell's at 6. Where, if someone's telling you something, you might have to suck it up and listen, Leon.
I mean, you got to take off the training wheels, play like grown men. I told you the most definite thing that ever was told to me as a player from a coach is that we didn't pay you to play average. When I came in the first year, 96, my first half of the season, I played average. I told Coughlin that. And I was in his office. I said, I'm playing. He asked me how I think I'm playing. I said, I'm playing average. He said, you're damn right you're playing average. We didn't pay you to play average.
I can't believe you admitted that.
Listen, we on the 3-6 team. You can't say I'm playing good, coach.
Well, that's the point. Keep going.
Yeah, you can't say you're playing good. You're 3-6.
Yeah.
I told him I was playing average. You say you're damn right you're playing average. We did not pay you to play average, and I think that should be a bell that rings an alarm in that locker room today.
Here,
yeah,
that's right, exactly.
But how many of those guys would actually, if they're brought into Liam Cohen's office, how many of those guys that I just mentioned would say, I think I'm playing average?
Well, listen, if I'm Liam Cohen, I mean, you don't want to get in a situation where you're 3-6 when you start the season. That's what TC said. But I think you should hit them off early. I mean, because all these coaches have watched the film of this team over last year, and you tell me all the guys who got the bag, how'd they play? Tyson Campbell, Josh Hines Allen, Trayvon Walker, Walker Little, Ezra Cleveland. I mean, all these guys. And if I'm Liam Cohen, first thing I'm doing, I'm bringing them in the office, and listen. Sometimes a player is real personal about his game. All right. So when you feel coaching, you're telling the player after you watch a film that you're not playing to your to the standard of the team.
Right
now. I just think that it's imperative that Liam Cole let these guys know that you got paid and you're not playing to your potential. So I think a jolt of honesty would take this team a long way.
Not only that, and you as the former head coach, I want to ask you this. To Leon's point was you're not playing to the level you're being paid. Do you also say, and oh, by the way, I wasn't the guy that paid you, which kind of lays down the law of I'm not beholden to you.
Yeah. I think you have to be careful a little bit on how you come in.
Right.
But I think, from Leon's point, that when we went to the Cowboys now, guys, they had gone 3 years without winning.
They were terrible.
They were 3-4 13, 3-12.
Right.
And of course, we didn't help it any the first year, but there were guys on that football team that didn't respond the right way. Some guys get satisfied with, their play. They're making money. And
this is not a young team, by the way.
It is an NFL. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And that's why I'm bringing it up.
Yeah.
I'm saying that point that you're making right there is a really important one. How they come in and how they deal with those guys are going to be really important. And I think a lot of it is, I can only think of one or two players in my whole coaching career that I couldn't get to. Now, they were 8 and 9 year guys in the league.
So they were settled.
Different deal.
They were settled.
Different deal.
Yeah, but honestly, with this group right here, they may as well be 8 and 9 year guys because they've been in this funk for 4, 5, 6, 7 years.
Yeah, that's going to be a factor.
They've had 7 games of success. 7 games.
You know the guys that were that way when we got to Dallas. You know where they were at the end of the year? Gone. They were at another place. Very simple.
I mean,
okay?
you've got a big group of guys that are in that group.
And we did. That's why I say every once in a while, I kind of like this. I liken this a little bit to when we came in with the Cowboys. Not worth a darn. Got a lot of guys. We're going to get rid of these guys, and we're going to let these young guys have an opportunity to see what, to get us started and develop.
And they've said that from day one. They walked in.
And really, basically, that's what happened after 1 year. Well, these guys are doing it. They ain't waiting for 1 year. They got rid of some guys. For example, everybody says, why is Ingram gone? I can tell you why Ingram's gone. Because Liam Cohen came in here and said, you know what, guys? When we get really good, Ingram's not going to be here. He's going to be done. His career is going to be over. Get rid of him now. Get the money, and let's build. That's what they're doing with this football team. And some of the guys you're talking about may get beat out. Some of the guys,
that's my next question.
Those 5 year, 6 year, 7 year guys might get beat out. Well, if they're like Leon, they won't, because they've got it. They understand that, hey, I'm not playing up to my pay grade. Some guys won't. That's just human nature.
Let's go over those players real quick, Leon. All right.
Okay.
You too, Coach. All right. We'll go just from the top. I mean, Trevor Lawrence obviously not getting benched. Okay. Travis Etienne. He not only has Tank Bigsby pushing him, but now he's got Bashal Tootin pushing him.
2 other backs.
Yeah, 2 other guys. Okay. So now we go down to the next guy. Let's go to Walker Little. Okay. Fred Johnson's a big man. Fred Johnson started 7 games for the Eagles last year. Okay. That's going to be that will be a camp battle to watch, will it not?
Absolutely. I'm loving it. Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Ezra Cleveland. He's got Milam now. And they didn't pick Milam at that high in the draft without saying that dude's going to play.
Milam's playing.
Okay. So let's hop to the defense. I even think that Anton Harrison better work. He better work because he's going to have a guy pushing him.
Yeah, because later on in the season he was lackluster. They watched the film, bro. Yep. They've absolutely watched the film.
And I think Edoga's got nice feet, and I don't think he has the talent that Anton Harrison has. I think Anton Harrison has potential. You tell me if I'm wrong because you're the offensive lineman. Potential to be a really good player.
Yeah, he does.
Athletic consistency, right?
Athletic.
Yeah. You talking about Anton Harris? Yeah, absolutely has the potential to be a pretty good player, but not consistent enough.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go to Josh Hines Allen.
Yeah.
Year 7, after getting paid $170 million. What do you have? 7.5 sacks?
Yeah, I think he had 7.
Is that the right number, JJ? 7.5 sacks for him last year?
From 17.5.
He was under 10. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Less than Trayvon Walker. All right. And they didn't draft really an edge. Okay.
8
yet. Okay. So they didn't really draft an edge, but he's got to be put on notice.
Yep.
You cannot have that type of year again and have that type of salary. Devon Hamilton, same thing. Now he's got guys behind him. He's got Mason Smith behind him, right? Yep. He's got Jordan Jefferson behind him.
Here's an interesting thing. Jeff Lagerman said earlier today on one of the shows on Jaguar Today, which I kind of laughed because he's right. They were talking about Armstead.
Right.
That was the example they were using. When they came out with the roster, okay, the offensive linemen, they didn't say OT, OG, or whatever. They said O-line.
Right.
O-line.
Right.
O-line. O-line.
Right.
All of them. Okay, including the tackles now that you're just talking about. O-line.
Right.
Right? On the defensive side, it was D-line. D-line, except when it got to Armstead. And with Armstead, it said defensive tackle. So you tell me that they don't expect competition, and those guys better. If you put an O-line on a guy, that means he could be a tackle, a guard, a center. They're all on notice.
Yeah.
And to me, that's what you're talking about right there. And I laughed. I said, yeah, because and Lagerman was funny. I had to laugh because he said, I don't know what the hell was going on last year with Armstead, but he's now a defensive tackle.
Look, here's another thing, too. After that very first rookie practice, Liam Combs steps to the mic, and the first thing he's asked is, who stood out for you? And he says, first and foremost, those were his exact words, first and foremost, Jack Kaiser.
Yeah.
So, Devin Lloyd, guess what? You're on the clock.
You're on notice.
You're on notice, brother. You are on notice. Here's another one, Muma. Yep. Ventrell Miller is working with the ones. Ventrell Miller is a starter now. Okay? Then you go into the secondary, and, I mean, if Tyson Campbell, you got paid, man. You got paid, and not only did you not play well, you're not available.
Yeah,
and they've drafted a couple corners.
Right.
So it's time to put up now, is it not? Mm-hmm. It's also time for these guys, Leon, like when you got a brand new coaching staff and they say, hey, so I've watched some of your tape, and, you know, I'm not singling out Tyson Campbell, but let's just say, you know, I see the way you're moving your hips here.
Right.
There's none of this. Oh, man. You got to listen now, man.
Absolutely.
Or you are not for long in the league or not for long in that team.
Yep. Jimmy fired a running back. We were already in the playoffs, and the game was meaningless, and he fumbled twice, and he fired him. Now, you don't think that puts everybody on notice going into the playoffs? You better hold on to the football.
I remember that. Who was that? He was like a vet.
No, he's just a couple years from Pittsburgh.
Oh, I thought he was a vet.
No, he was a running back from Pittsburgh. He was a backup.
But I remember him being cut.
Yeah, he was a backup running back to Emmett, and he fumbled twice in the last game.
Could you see that, like in the preseason, like game 1, game 2, if something like that happens, and all of a sudden, bang, they cut him, just to like make a.
Not everybody's Jimmy.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Gotta have the credentials first and foremost, all right?
So you think you get? So you don't think you could do that with this staff of these young guys? And
no. I mean, because you're already evaluating young talent in the preseason, and these are your draft. You talking about his guys, or you just talking about a guy?
A guy.
Yeah. I don't know what the emphasis it would have on in the preseason that you do that. But Jimmy doing it late in the season where they about to go in the playoffs, yeah, that echoes in the locker room.
Curvis Richards.
Curvis Richards.
Right.
2 fourth-quarter fumbles against the Bears.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, I remember that.
Hey, gotta go. You gotta go. Jimmy didn't play, bro. He absolutely didn't play.
Or even like early in camp. Like early in camp, if someone's not, you know.
Well, that was Roper. Roper fell asleep in a special teams meeting. He fired him too. That was early in the season.
Do they have the gravitas, Leon, to like do that like early in camp, like bang, cut him?
So if a guy falls asleep in camp or something like that,
or just something that
late,
doesn't. Yeah.
Sometimes you got to send a message, and it echoes in the locker room.
Where he's on the ladder.
Because it echoes in the locker room. Hey, man, you heard about the dude that got cut because he fell asleep in meetings? Man, y'all better get y'all some coffee. Something to keep you awake. Yeah, you got to send those kind of messages every now and then to let the players that you're not, let them know who's in control.
Jimmy actually said if it was Troy that fell asleep, he'd have got him a cup of coffee and brought it over to him.
Depends on who it is, bro.
I mean, it does, but still.
You got to play those little mind games with us every now and then, bro. Keep us on edge.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
I don't either.
It's a lot better than ice cream. It just is, man.
Yeah, but I think you brought up a really good point, though. There is and I consider a 5-year guy not an old timer.
No, but they're definitely set in their ways.
There's a lot of those guys that have been through
teetering,
but they've not been successful.
Right
here. Now,
all they
some
know
of
is
them
here.
have been successful over some other places, but not here.
Right. These guys, this core group of players that are kind of iffy. They're kind of teetering right now. All they know is bad, other than a 7-game stretch.
Yep, and they got to get them out of that. That's part of their job, in developing is get them out of that.
Yeah, you got to get them out of their comfort zone.
Yeah,
because because what it insinuates that when you get the bag, you play poorly. I'm not picking on Josh Hines Allen, but when
But he did.
Well, we essentially thought that when his contract year he got 17 and a half sacks, and then he turns around next year gets 8. Then you say to yourself, what was the difference? Oh, the money. It's insinuated that he became a little fat cat, got comfortable. That's what you got to do. You got to get him out of his comfort.
Right.
You got to get him out of his comfort. And you got to tell him the truth. Hey, look, bro, when you got your money, contract year, man, you balled out. Last year, it seems like you became complacent, and we didn't pay you to be average.
Same thing with Tyson Campbell.
Yeah, but I see you're looking at the same thing with when they signed the third the veteran.
Well, Cleveland.
No, the backup. He's going to be the backup.
The Russian.
Pass rusher.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, I know what you're saying.
Agba.
Yeah, out of Miami, yeah.
Agba.
Yeah.
Emmanuel Agba.
When that kid is not Hines Allen.
No, he's not going to, and he's not going to take his job.
But he could start. I mean, there is, he could be a starter. Yeah, if something happened to one of those guys, he could start, and he'd be better than what we've had there. And so that's part of it. You bring people in for competition. I mean, he's probably not going to take the job. He paid him too much money.
Right, you're not going to sit Josh Hines.
But it's just the idea that, that the guys behind him, that can play.
All right, let's get a little further into this because this is something definitely that is on the cusp right now. Let's come back to the other side. We'll do a lot more. It's XLP.
We call Jacksonville home because it is our home. Our home sweet home. 1010XL, Jacksonville Sports Radio.
I'm Chris Campione. Veterans have given so much in the service of our country, but when it comes to legal challenges, you shouldn't have to fight alone. At Campione Law, we're here to help veterans like you get the support and compensation you deserve. Whether it's a workplace injury, a personal injury claim, or navigating a veteran's disability claim, we'll stand by your side every step of the way. Your service to our country matters. Let us serve you with the dedication and respect you deserve. Call Campione Law for a free consultation today. Campione Law, fighting for veterans, fighting for justice. Visit CampioneLaw.com.
Campione Law.
Hey, Hicken here. I couldn't be any happier than to join the George Moore Chevrolet family. When I say family, I mean it. Visit their beautiful showroom today off Atlantic Boulevard. Find out exactly what I'm talking about. No pressure, just friendly help. And whether you want a car, a truck, SUV, electric, pre-owned, you name it, George Moore Chevrolet has it. And if you can't make it over to Atlantic Boulevard, no problem. MooreChevy.com is easy to navigate as any site you will try. It's never been more easy to use. George Moore Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Tired of changing out bad sod year after year? Get it done right with Roundtree Sod. Big or small, they have it, and always supplied farm fresh. For a lush, legendary green lawn, call 7414-SOD for a free estimate. 7414-SOD.
With 50 years of fabrication expertise in towing products, the family at Cannons of Jacksonville can repair or install precisely what you need to tow with confidence. Visit cannonsofjacks.com, where quality and customer satisfaction collide.
Get this. Joey and me were supposed to go to this concert next week, right? But then something terrible happened. Joey was driving without a seatbelt. But he didn't wreck. No, he got pulled over. Now Joey has to pay for a seatbelt ticket instead of a concert ticket, and I have to go by myself. How lame is that? So Joey, if you're out there, you're an idiot. Wear your seatbelt or you'll get a ticket.
All across the country, cops are cracking down. Click it or ticket, day and night.
Funded by the Florida Department of Transportation.
This Date in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On May 20th, 1991, Michael Jordan of the Chicago Bulls was named the NBA's MVP for the second time in his career. That same year, Jordan led the Bulls to their first NBA championship.
Since 1901, generations of skilled union workers have built the backbone of our community. Hospitals, schools, the buildings where you work. Every year, a new apprentice class of Local 234, plumbers, pipe fitters, and HVAC technicians is stepping up, trained, driven, and ready to do great things. They're not just building our city, they're building their future. Local 234, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit UA234.com to become a member or contractor today.
North Florida is growing with lots of new families joining our community. If you're one of them making the move here, your next move should be a call to American Electrical to create the best home automation system, enhancing your living experience. There are many ways your life can be made easier through smart home technology, voice-activated systems, automated lighting, total house temperature control. With American Electrical, they've got everything you need to automate your home and make it your true oasis. Check out American-Electrical.com. Powered by professionalism and raising the excellence bar.
Listen all day as 1010XL gives you news, notes, and analysis of organized team activities as they get ready for the upcoming season. Our coverage of OTAs is hoisted by Heroes Lawn Care and Hurricane Grill and Wings.
New year, new club. This is Joe C., and I'm proud to be a member of Southampton. And with the popularity of golf, getting a tee time is tough. But with membership comes member privileges. Enjoy clubhouse dining, expanded practice area, focusing on all parts of your game. And right now, you can join with an annual commitment and get a $1,000 discount, plus $500 of Pro Shop credit. All the details are online at golfsouthampton.com or call 287-PLAY and make a tee time today at the Golf Club of Southampton.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. This is XL Primetime, brought to you by Florida Home AC. Now that's cool on 1010XL.
All right, it's a Beaver Toyota, Beaver Chevrolet Tuesday here on XLP. Matt Hayes, Leon Cersei, the coach, Dave Campo. Jay is making it sound great. Joe C. is on vacation. So, fellas, we were talking earlier about this core group of Jaguars who are at the cusp right now. The fourth, fifth, sixth-year guys that all they've known is L. All they've known is losing, other than that 7-game stretch. And that funk, Leon, that we talk about all the time, is on them. It's on them. And the 651 on the text line chimes in. By the way, you can join us on the text line, 641-1010, brought to you by our good friends at Lifetime Enclosures. They need a boot camp like what Coughlin used to set up. Take those guys to some remote location in North Dakota and make them work. I want to see the players own it. We got to have some pride. They should be embarrassed by how they look on tape.
Well, first of all, I don't wish that on nobody. Okay? Let me go and get that out the way. I don't wish that on nobody. You don't understand. We called it Camp Hale, all right, in 1996 here in Jacksonville. So,
you guys went in Wisconsin, right?
No. That was a 95 team. Yeah, 95, when they first came into existence, they went to Wisconsin.
You guys didn't go?
No, I came here in 96, and it was just as bad here in Jacksonville. Trust me.
I couldn't think of any worse place than being outside here right now.
Right.
Exactly, bro.
Did you guys go to Latrobe at the Steelers? Is that
we went to Latrobe with the Steelers.
Yeah. What was that like?
It was terrible. It was awful. It was. I think Latrobe it's a Catholic school, right, Coach?
Did you stay in like a dorm?
Yeah, we stayed in the dorm.
So explain what that was like.
Well, I mean, we stayed in the dorm, all right, and the dorms were no bigger than the studio.
Small ass bed.
Really?
Yeah, look, I had twin-size bed for somebody who get 22 twin-size beds, all right? And we had to share everything.
Wait, you pushed the two twin-size beds together?
No,
they didn't sleep together.
Like two people in a room.
Two people in a room.
So you literally slept in a twin-size bed?
Bro, yes, we slept in twin-size bed, all right? And then
6'3", slept in a twin-size bed.
That part right there, yeah. And there was no shower in the room, so it was a group shower. So we didn't have no shower in our room.
That's hardcore, bro.
It sounds like prison.
Thank you, that part. Exactly. Only thing we had in there is that I remember just holding my Bible all the time. Like,
that sounds like prison.
What did I do to deserve this? Latrobe was terrible, man. But Jacksonville in '96 was just as bad. It was it was just as bad.
And you guys would stay at like a hotel, though, right?
Yeah, we stayed at the hotel downtown.
Like cut off from family.
Yeah, you couldn't. Yeah, curfews. Everything like that.
Why don't they do that anymore? Why don't they do that anymore?
Because of feelings, bro.
Involved, bro. You can't have that. You can't have feelings involved, bro. Yeah. There it is, Jay.
Yeah, we were in
you
camp.
guys were in Thousand Oaks, right?
Well, we were in Camp Cupcake the first year out in Thousand Oaks. And the next year we went right to Austin, where it's just as miserable as here. I can promise you. The sun was out, and it was hot.
Where were you practicing in Austin? At the university?
No, at St. Edward's University.
Okay.
They always went to the Catholic schools because they had the small rooms.
Yeah.
Right. But that's how, I mean, explain that to everybody. That's how you get, that's how you kind of galvanize a team, right?
Fellowship.
A little bit
camaraderie.
different. Yeah, it's a little bit different today. I don't know how they work it today. I mean,
it's not a CBA thing, right? I don't think it is.
No,
is it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the players voted for for training camp, not to be as long, not to be as hard, not to be as intense, all that kind of stuff. That was a CBA. That was collectively bargained.
But I mean, the idea of going to another place is what I'm saying, I guess.
Yeah.
Does anybody still do that?
I don't know.
Well, because they've all built these great facilities that just stay.
I think there are some, like the Cowboys, for example. They do go out to California for the first 2 weeks.
Really?
And then they come back.
Even though they have the Star and everything?
Yeah, then they train at the Star because they play the home games back here, and it gets them acclimated to the heat.
Okay.
So that's what some teams are doing. I don't know what everybody's doing, but I'll tell you what, if you work here hard, it's hot enough. But you can't send them in the indoor facility when they get a little.
That's his pet peeve.
When there's a little heat going on.
They disgusted me last year when I saw that. It did, really. I hated it. But other people don't understand that the training camp was designed for camaraderie.
Yes.
Because everybody's going through the same struggle.
Right.
You're hot, you're tired, the banging, the bruising, the healing, all that kind of stuff. So that's why training camp, that's why 2 days was so fundamentally good for players, is because it's all about the struggle. It's about collectively because once you get, because you see the golden goose, which is the season. You want to get to the season. Right. All right. So you're going to endure this mountain climb of training camp so you can get to what you really want, which is the season. So
I've got a video, the greatest video of all time, because we're getting beat up in training camp in Austin.
Mm-hmm.
And Jimmy, everybody comes out and you got grays underneath your pads and everything. And in the morning he goes, "All right, guys, take all your pads off." So they take all the pads off. 2 buses roll in. We get in the buses and we go to this little quarry. And it's a video. They videoed the whole thing. I've never seen a bunch of guys have more fun jumping in that water. And it was freezing cold, but everybody was in it. They're jumping off of rocks, diving boards, you name it. I've got the video.
Yeah.
But that's how you do it. You kick their tail and you hug their neck. Right. That's how it's done, in my opinion.
And Cowell did the same thing in Pittsburgh. He waits to, the dog days of training camp, right? We had already gone through like maybe 2 weeks of training camp. Guys, mofoing one another.
Can't wait to get off of practice.
I can't stand to look at this guy across from me. His breath stink. The coffee's bad. The donut's stale. Everybody just hating on everybody. And then we're in full pads and it's hot. And then Coach Cowell comes out there and says, "All right, now we need a good day of work. We need a good day of work, man." And we're stretching and stuff like that. Then he blows the whistle. "Hey, everybody up. Everybody up. Hey, look. Take your pads off. All right. What we got? I got Iron City beer by the pool. Everybody take the day off. See you tomorrow morning." Like, what? So you run to the pool. Now, this is a morning practice now. Right. You run into the pool, you drinking beer, you jump in the pool, do everything, and then you get a whole day off and got to be back until no curfew. You got a whole day off. So the first thing you do is you tell the rookies, "Hey, Rook, don't screw this up."
Yeah, because we might get another one. We might get another one during the
course. Tell the rookies, don't screw this up. You be your butt here on time. 9 a.m. meeting, you be here. Matter of fact, I need you to meet at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
All right? Because veterans knew better. Rookies always find a way to screw it up.
But I don't, like, from what since I've been back here, like, I haven't seen anything like that with this team. Yeah. There's no like grind, no push, no like, all right, let's give you a day off. Let's go, jump in the pool, whatever. I mean, Nick Saban and Kirby Smart are like famous for that. Like they'll just grind, then they give them this day that do whatever they want.
First of all, this team has not earned a pool day.
Yeah.
Okay, let me go ahead and say that out quick. No pool day for this team.
Right. I get that, but I guess my point is
he's saying he hasn't seen the work before.
Yeah,
that.
I haven't even seen the work before.
Like we saw the ice cream days. We've seen the movie. We've seen all of that.
I've heard him talk about the ice cream and feelings and all that. But I haven't seen that grind where, quite frankly, Dave, and you can speak to this, and so can Leon, That's where like leadership emerges. When you've got that grind, that's where you find who the real leaders are.
Yeah.
The leaders that when you get into a funk during the season and you lose 2 games, those are the guys that pull you out of it.
Yeah.
Where you don't lose 5 of the last 6 games and miss the playoffs because you lose to one of the 3 worst teams in the league on the last week of the season.
You know, you talk about the game changing. To me, that's one of the things that have changed. To be honest with you, I don't think that anybody grinds like the old days. I mean, when you're talking about 2-a-days, hit in the morning and middle drill in the morning and thud in the afternoon, but you had the pads on, you were rolling. I mean, it was a real grind. I don't see that in training camp today. I mean, I think they practice one time, then it's a walkthrough the second time. They can't have 2-a-day practices, so it's a little tough to do that. But I think that the mentality, though, has to be, hey, we're out there for 2 hours. This is what's got to happen.
Yeah, we're not stopping.
We're not. Yeah. We're rolling. This is, we're grinding. It has to be ground into them that this is all business. This is
I saw a little of that yesterday. They were running in between periods.
Yeah, that's all you can do today.
Yeah.
Leon, not the same as the old days.
No, every era says the other era may be not as tough. Of course. So, I mean, no, but it seems a little bit more synchronized. Yeah. And then, you know what I'm saying? It seems a little bit more synchronized.
I was thinking of another word that started with S.
I was too, but I wouldn't say it.
So
just know that I'm ultra soft.
Yeah, that part, yeah. No, Coach is right. I mean, you it's hard to simulate. We had drills specifically to the needs in which we wanted to be as a team.
Right.
Like Coach said, there was 9-on-7, there was middle drill, there was blitz drill, there was one-on-ones. There were all these different drills
compete
drills where you, man on man, ain't no scheme, ain't no this, and that.
No.
Just line up, can you whoop the man in front of you type of drill.
Which is what football is.
Exactly.
And that's what those were. You can't simulate toughness. You tough and you put on your big boy pants and come off the ball, or you're going to get embarrassed. And that's what those drills were: middle drill, inside run, blitz drill, one-on-ones. I mean, that's how. I mean,
iron sharpens iron.
Exactly. Yeah.
So the easiest way to get that at least that level of intensity then is to just go all out for 2 hours in between periods, everything.
Well, let
no
me
standing around. Like you said, the standing around last year annoyed the hell out of you.
Yeah. Well, I'm telling you something. There's nothing more gratifying or more embarrassing. You go one-on-one with a man and you win or you lose.
That's right.
But then it's nothing more gratifying and embarrassing when you go one-on-one with a man and you either win or you lose. Now, the best thing about football is that you can lose that one day and tomorrow you do the same thing and you can win. But you know what? There's competition.
Right.
Because if you lose, you remember it. And you don't want to lose. No, by the way, I'm 5-0 when it came to I'm just being honest. When it came to what was it called? They outlawed the coach.
The Oklahoma drill?
Oklahoma drill.
Oh, yeah.
You never lost the Oklahoma
5-0
drill?
Pistons. I ain't gonna lie. If you don't believe me, go finish the film.
No, son, I believe it. You don't have to convince me. I've seen you. I've seen you. You heard me say the other day, I think, that Nate Newton, all-time beauty, offensive guard.
One of the greatest characters in the history of the NFL.
Yeah, absolutely. And he was getting beat up one day, and somebody told him, he said, in the middle drill, he goes, one of the young guys said, why don't you come out, Nate? You got a brace on this leg. You got tape all over you. You got this and that. He turned around. He says, you see that guy over there, Larry Allen? He's behind me. I can't afford to come out. That's the competition. That's the competition that we're talking about that they're trying to get here, to be honest with you. That's what they want here. And they may not be able to be as crazy, nuts, tough, physical, all that. But competition brings out the best in a man too.
Yeah.
You may not get 5 opportunities, but you may get 2, and it's still what Leon just said. It's you win or you lose. That's it. So the competition level is what they're trying to get.
Right.
And the more you love the game of football, the more that competition, what that means to you, that rep. And I think that's what they're trying to get, hopefully, and that's going to pay dividends, hopefully.
All right, 1 hour down, 1 to go. It's XLP. Come back next side. We'll get further into this Jags maybe a little college football as well.
You love sports. You live for the action.
He did it again!
Experience the excitement of the moment on 1010XL.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Mayday, mayday, mayday.
Come in, Linda. Over.
We've got a sea of new vehicles and they're priced so low they're rocking the boat. Come check out our biggest selection of inventory with prices that don't break the bank and our wow ya experience that will ensure smooth sailing for your next car purchase. Plus, take advantage of our peace of mind warranties, transparent pricing to provide you with a peace of mind. You better beat the surge and head to the all-new Beaver Toyota or Chevrolet for the car buying experience you deserve.
David Garrard here. I've had the PRP treatment from Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, and my knees are really doing well. Platelet-rich plasma treatment may be the answer for whatever is hurting you.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
My son had a meniscus surgery a couple years ago. When it's smooth as silk, Dr. Kevin Murphy did it. Was playing tennis in 2 weeks. This is Patrick Malarkey, and I highly recommend
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
DivorceMenOnly.com. This is Kenny Lay of Kenny Lay & Associates. Our firm specializes in representing men in family law. That's all we do. That's our only focus. We can help with all of your family law needs, such as divorce, custody, alimony, and child support. For over a decade, we have helped thousands of men with these types of issues. We even have an appellate division ready to challenge a judge's ruling. If you need a family law attorney, go to DivorceMenOnly.com. DivorceMenOnly.com. Offices, Jacksonville.
Jacksonville's building a playoff team in teal.
All right, we're going to play to win.
Follow 1010XL's coverage of organized team activities. Backed by Heroes Lawn Care and Hurricane Grill and Wings. Tune up the off-season with AA Automotive and 1010XL.
Are you thinking about a pool for your home? Blue Haven Pools is Jacksonville's largest pool builder. They've built pools for over 20,000 satisfied families since 2000. It's never been easier to design the perfect pool for your home, family, and budget. Call Blue Haven Pools today at 904-620-0090 to get a free in-home estimate for your in-ground pool, or visit bluehaven.com. Don't let another summer pass by without a pool. Join thousands of happy Jacksonville pool owners in a Blue Haven pool.
Plumbing problems? AC not blowing? Septic tank doing whatever septic tanks do? Don't call 3 different companies and play contractor roulette. Just call Duck Duck Rooter. Waddle over to duckduckrooter.com. When you're stuck, call the duck.
Prosser here. Spring has sprung, and it's a great time to sell your house, but only if you have the very best on your side, and those very best are Chad and Sandy Newman. Spring selling season's here. Rates are down. Activity's up. It's the best time in years to sell your home, in fact, but there are homes sitting on the market. They don't have the right representation. That's where Chad and Sandy step in. Maybe you're worried your home needs repairs or updating and it won't sell for a good price. Maybe your family's growing and you need more space. Whatever the reason that you need to sell your home, Chad and Sandy deliver this promise to you. Chad and Sandy guarantee your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. Sounds pretty hassle-free to me. Take it from Mike and Rosemary in St. Augustine. We were determined to buy an affordable home in a specific school zone, but we didn't qualify for the loan needed to get one. Chad and Sandy's team worked with the lender, negotiated a higher qualification price, lower interest. It was huge, $200 less per month. Do it today. Call 414-6200 or go to chadandsandy.com.
The flagship station of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Enhance your home with Renewal by Anderson's superior craftsmanship and timeless design. Right now, buy 2 windows or patio doors and get the third at 60% off. Plus, 0 down, no payments, and no interest for 12 months. This offer expires May 31st. Renewal by Anderson, proud partner of the Florida Gators. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com to schedule your free consultation.
License number CGC 1527613.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you. Call 904-722-1111.
Instant Keys saves the day if you've lost or broken keys. They can program new keys and remotes for nearly every make and model of vehicle at a fraction of the dealership cost. Fast, honest, and reliable locksmith service. Call Instant Keys, 722-1111.
Have you got concrete or asphalt rubble piling up? Arcosa Crushed Concrete will pay you for it and recycle it. They're just minutes from Everbank Stadium on Talleyrand. Call Arcosa Crushed Concrete and get paid for what you don't need. ArcosaCrushedConcrete.com.
I'm Max Fink with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist. Local sports update brought to you by Awaken 180. With the draft behind us, we're now in OTAs as the football calendar continues to inch closer to week 1. After yesterday's first practice, 1010XL's very own Mia O'Brien as QB1, how Brian Thomas Jr. has separated himself from this time last year when he was starting OTAs as a rookie versus going into year 2 this year.
Obviously, the talent's always been there, but I mean, the confidence, obviously, off the year he had and what he's done. Now he has a full year under his belt where, he's one of the top receivers in the league. I think my confidence in him, seeing him do his thing for a year now, and just you get that one-on-one, you feel really confident about our guy. So just a lot of confidence in him. He's smart. He's picking up. It's another system he's learning. It's 2 years in, 2 systems, and just been impressed by how he carries himself.
It's 92 degrees at 3:02. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Definitely. There's an energy on the practice field. I think that starts with, obviously, Liam. He's a very energetic guy. He's passionate, loves football, loves to be out here. I think that's one thing I've noticed about him from the beginning is a lot of energy, and that trickles down through the staff, right? So, I mean, it's that, and then also the players that we have, a big variety of the guys that they brought in free agency. They all fit what we're trying to do, and the I guess the culture and the energy, and then even a guy like Travis bringing in who's just full of energy and positive and, a playmaker, all those things. It's cool seeing it all come together, and it seems like everything's well thought out about the type of people that are here, not just the talent.
This is XL Primetime, brought to you by Florida Home AC. Now that's cool on 1010XL.
All right, we're back on XLP. It's a Beaver Toyota, Beaver Chevy Tuesday on XLP. That's a great point by Trevor there, Dave. And you and Leon both can speak to this. You've got guys that have come from winning organizations. Obviously, Liam Cohen with the Rams, Campanelli with the Packers, Edgar Bennett with the Packers. You've got guys that know how to win, that have done it, and that have done it in this league at an extended rate. Guy in the text line makes a great point. The 409 in the text line, by the way, you can get involved, 641-1010. On the text line, brought to you by our good friends at Lifetime Enclosures. The 409 says, hey, guys, just keep in mind, no one knows his team better than Baselli. He watched camp, practice, and every game for years. He knows the slackers, the guys that bust their ass, and the guys that can't beat third-string tackles. So I think it's safe to say the players have already been put on notice and better play better. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. I think that's all part of it. I really think that, one thing, I mean, coaches are not stupid. You come in there and you say, okay, this team needs something, and one of it is a shot of adrenaline. So, they're going to come in with that kind of an attitude, and they'll find out the guys that really want it. You can tell. And like I said, they've brought in guys, not just from winning programs, but guys that love the game of football. And I think that's a big start to it. That's the smarter guys you have, the guys that love the game, the better chance they have to develop. And that's what they're trying to get. And you've said it from the beginning. There's a bunch of guys in there that have to watch their backs.
Yeah.
Because
I don't see how else you can look at it.
There's nobody there that can say, well, I got this thing made.
Right.
There's nothing made over there right now other than maybe the quarterback.
And the one defensive end.
He's already said, like Leon said, he's already said it's on me now. He said it by how he came across with, I got all the answers now. I had the answers to the test. Well, then let's get them right.
So, Leon, you have said over and over that you were never a guy to lead by fire with your mouth. You were always like, I'm going to show you.
Mm-hmm.
When you got here, after 4 years with the Steelers, did TC expect you to be a leader? Did he say anything to you about that? Or did he just say, let your play, show who you are, and these guys will follow like the example you set?
Well, when I got here, I mean, TC could assess the fact that I wasn't a big talker, that I was the one that showed you through results.
Right.
By my toughness, playing physical, playing hard, playing fast, being well conditioned. You know that when that my silence spoke volumes. You know, if I rarely spoke in the team meeting room, it meant something because Cersei was all about his business. My dad used to tell me all the time, let people run their mouth, you run your business. And I took care of my business. And that echoed in the locker room because I practiced the way I was going to play. So I played full speed every day in practice.
Right.
Every day. And it was some guys that didn't like to go in against me because they knew Cersei wasn't going to take no day off. Because I was all about getting my game together. And if it took me going full speed every day in practice, that's how I got my game together. So a lot of people didn't like that. I went full speed and walked through. I used to tape up for walk through because I'm going to hit you with my hands. All right? So TC appreciated the fact that Cersei was a hard worker.
Right.
Cersei was a hard worker. So that right there, it set the tone, set the message that, I came from the Steelers where I was the same way when I was the Steelers, same way as the Jaguar. That set the tone to what this team with this offensive line was going to be about. So
I'm sure you probably spoke more at Club Nate than you did in the locker room. But can you remember like the first time you said something in the locker room when you were here?
Oh yeah, of course I can. Yes, I mean this was last preseason game. We were playing the Denver Broncos.
Good. So before the
season, right? We were playing the Denver Broncos. I was playing next to a guy named Brian DeMarco, and he was going up against this guy named Jumpy Gathers. And Jumpy Gathers had this move where he rip you and lift you up and all this other kind of stuff. So Brian had a rough half. All right, he did. He had 2 illegal procedures, gave up 2 sacks, and we go in the locker room, and there's Gatorade on the table. Right, remember this is a preseason game. Yeah. There's Gatorade on the table. TC comes and knocks all the Gatorade off the table and pushes the Gatorade, and he's chewing into Brian DeMarco. And I'm looking at him like, "What are you doing?" And I just lost it. I said, "Man, what the hell is going on here in Jacksonville?" I said, "Y'all act like this during a preseason game." I said, "There's no way we're going to survive the season if we got this kind of attention." And then everything settled down, calmed down. TC came over to me and said, "Leon, you were right." I said, "Coach, I got to play with this guy." I said, he's struggling. Absolutely, he's struggling right now. But I said, you can't kill him in front of the team because we're going to need him. I said, what he did was embarrassing. We were corrected. We'll stay on him, but you can't do that. And he just said, you know what, you're right. And that was the first time I had ever just lost it because I was like, I didn't know where the hell I was. Because just the preseason game, and you got people knocking over Gatorade and flipping tables over. I said, bro, we are in trouble. That's the first time I really spoke out. Yeah.
So as a coach, that's clearly a tightrope that you've got to walk, right? Yeah. I'm sure you guys dealt with it your first year in Dallas. I mean, you want to show them that look, it's not like it used to be. Right. You can't be like you said. The Cowboys had 3 straight losing seasons. They were bad. I mean, this group has to come in here and think, all right, these guys for 20-something months played terrible football. Yeah, terrible. So how do you walk that line?
Well, to be honest with you, I think that's one of the reasons that Hainsey is here, to be honest with you, because we had Michael Irvin. You got to find the guys in the locker room that speak your language. And we had Michael Irvin. So whatever Jimmy did when we first got there, Michael was kind of like what Leon did, but in more, not a specific incident, but hey, don't worry about it. We're going to win here because he knows how to win. And, at the end of the day, you're going to find out that what he's doing is the right way to do it.
Right.
So the first thing you try to do as a coach coming into a locker room is find out who the captains are, who are the guys that are the spokesmen, because they speak your language and they give you an opportunity to. I guarantee you, Cowart had 2 or 3 guys in the locker room that spoke his language. Mm-hmm. I'm sure of it.
You talking about Bill Cowart?
Yeah, Cowart.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And
TC.
And TC.
Yeah.
You can't. First of all, Leon listens more to Michael Irvin in a key situation than he would Jimmy Johnson when it was all said and done.
Yeah.
Because that's how it works. You know, the guys in the locker room have to control themselves to a certain amount, but they have to have some guys that you can count on to walk in and say, guys have these committees.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not everybody has them, but if you have a committee, those are guys that you feel can pass what you're trying to do to them, but they're also passing what the problems are to you.
To you. Like a leadership committee. Yeah.
A committee, you know, a player committee or whatever. Some guys do it, some guys don't.
Right.
But you have to have a pipeline between and I'm not talking about turning a guy in or doing this and that. Just, hey, here's what's going on.
Communication.
Yeah, and here's how, this is why we're doing it this way. And here's why we are having a problem with that. You know, and that's how you kind of put it together.
There's no chance in hell they had any kind of communication last year.
No,
or the last 7 games of the year before.
Listen, I love Doug Peterson. I think he's a fine gentleman, and you know, he knows what he's doing. But when you're on a team that has not successful, you can't leave it to them. There has to be, you have to guide them. And I don't think he did. I think he looked at everybody like they're professionals. They should do it because they're a professional. Not everybody, you've heard me say this before, not everybody's Leon Searcy. You know, there's guys that
we
are
tell
here.
him that all the time.
Yeah.
He doesn't understand
That's right,
it.
because I know him. There's guys that are up here, there's guys down here, and there's a bunch of guys in here. And you got to guide these guys in here to head that direction instead of going that direction. And if you don't, there'll be a bunch of guys fall down into that group down here, and it'll get bigger and bigger before.
Right, and they were in a tailspin at the end of 23.
Absolutely,
and all those middle guys went down. They went south.
Absolutely, yeah. That's
and
why
they
a guy
never came back
said,
up.
That's why a guy came out and said, "Well, I saw a little quid out there today." Well, yeah. They've headed in that direction.
You know why? Because it don't cost nothing to be mediocre.
Yeah.
If you want to be great, you got to spend.
That's right.
You got to spend to be
right,
great.
but those dudes were in the playoff last year. They were a fumble away from being in the game in the fourth quarter against the Chiefs.
Yeah. I mean, I'm talking about last year, though. I'm talking about last year.
Right.
When things really
because listen, there's been teams that have been 0-4 and found a way to dig themselves out. I mean, listen, the Cincinnati Bengals were 1 game away. Yeah. They started off slow.
Yeah.
But they found a way to get themselves into the contention of making it. Now, they didn't make it. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, right.
And the reason why they didn't make it is because they started off slow. But what I'm saying is, in order for you, it don't cost nothing to be mediocre. If you want to be great, you got to spend. You got to spend. You got to unselfishly spend, and you got to make sacrifices. And this team was more comfortable last year in just being mediocre. I don't nobody really expect much out of us. We're okay. No, I got the bag. I'm good. I'm here. Family's good. Whatever. Back porch, pool, Mai Tai, smoke a cigar. I'm good to go. That's not. You know, I'm saying that that's my mentality.
Right.
You got too many guys when they're tail spinning, looking forward to getting home instead of spending more time at work, getting some extra film, getting an extra rep. You know, getting on the field, working on your footwork, working on your get off, your hand placement, all that kind of stuff. Guy, when this is tailspin, and that's when you know what kind of guys you got in the locker room when stuff don't go so. In '96, 3-6, we could have folded the tent. Yep. We did, but we didn't. We had, I call it Atlanta Misfit Dolls, but you know, in the Misfit Dolls, we had Jerko, we had Lagerman, you know, we had Clyde Simmons, we had Natron, we had me, we had some vets that had been in situations where we could pull yourself up out of this, but it's going to be a team effort. And that's what we did. That's why 96 is so special.
But it's that extra work that you're talking about.
Yeah.
That plays a significant role in those one-possession games.
Yeah, but a coach shouldn't
That's how you lose one-possession games.
Well, yeah, a coach shouldn't have to tell you to spend more time on your craft. You're a professional.
No, I know that. Yeah. But my point is you guys had a lot of one-possession games in 95, 96.
And we won them.
A lot.
Yeah,
but you won them.
Absolutely. Those are the character guys. You got to have character guys.
That's my point of what they're trying to do here.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
you got to have guys who care, and don't have to be told to do an extra rep.
Yeah.
Stay on the field, work on your feet, your hands, get some extra film, get you another rep in the weight room, all that kind of stuff. When you
But
got character guys, you ain't got to tell them.
But you also said, I've heard you say that even you, coming from the University of Miami, when you got to Pittsburgh, you didn't really understand
how to be
the professional part of it.
No.
In other words, that had to be guided by guys sitting play. You talk about the guys that were next to you, the guys that are in that locker room that know how to be professional.
They taught me how to be a professional.
That has to be guided. You know, it just doesn't happen. It's a guidance.
So all right, so and then that's a great point. That's a great point, actually. So I'm going to transfer it to last season, Leon. A guy like Mason Smith, all the talent in the world. You know, reportedly wasn't in shape, wasn't ready early in the season. If he comes in and there's someone on that line of scrimmage that can lead him and guide him, he's not like that, right?
Yeah, but it just got to be a two-way street. Also.
I mean, he's got to work too. There's no doubt.
Got to work. He's got to want to be guided, and you know.
But do you really see a leader on that defensive
Who
line?
on that defensive
line
line is going to say, "Hey,
get
man,
your act right"?
Yeah.
No.
Right. That's kind of my point right there.
Yeah.
You would expect it to be Armstead, but
yeah.
But he was busy playing end apparently that he didn't want.
I don't know what the hell was going on over there, but he's a defensive tackle now.
Or even like Josh Allen. You're supposed to be the guy that was drafted here, the big money guy. You should be the leader.
Like how does Josh Allen not? How is he not just inherently a leader?
Well, money doesn't always equate leadership.
Right, but 17.5 sacks does. I'll tell you that right now.
Once.
I know once, but still, that does.
Yeah.
That I mean, you're in the locker room, 17.5 sacks jumps out at you, does it not?
Oh, absolutely.
It does.
Yeah, it does.
So whether he wants to or not, he's on that spot.
Yeah. Well, good for him.
But you know what I mean, bro? I mean, like, I'm good. Like, for me now, I'm concerned about a guy like Wyatt Milam. Like, who on that line is going to tell him, look, here's how you got to be a professional?
Well, you got to hope that Wyatt Milam comes in here with a little attitude himself. We've watched film on him. We seen him at the Senior Bowl.
Yeah,
he got some nasty.
He's got a little nasty in him.
Absolutely,
no doubt.
And keep that nasty. Keep it. Absolutely. Don't come in here and let him soften you up.
No, like I have no doubt that Brian Thomas will take Travis Hunter aside and say, look, here's how you got to work. Here's how it's got to be done. And my guess is Travis Hunter's going to say okay and take notes.
He seems like a guy who doesn't need to be led.
Yeah.
Yeah, he may be the leader.
Right.
Well, yeah, eventually, right. Yeah. Right, eventually. All right. We'll come back on the other side, continue this talk. It's XLP.
1010XL is here. 1010 AM. 1010XL is there. 92.5 FM. 1010XL is everywhere. 1010XL is where you want to be.
Just when you thought we couldn't bring you more, Keon Atlantic is here with a brand new store. We have the same great team to treat you well. With new savings during our grand opening sale. Keon Atlantic is here with the new store. Shop our best offers and largest selection yet. Save big during our grand opening sale. Is there something for everyone on our lot? You bet. If you're ready to experience something new, the all-new Keon Atlantic is ready for you. Your perfect ride is a visit away. Online at KeonAtlantic.com. Keon Atlantic, your coastal Kia connection.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes. There was a time if you handed me a bread basket at a restaurant, you better watch your fingers, man. Pizza, pasta, bread, carbs were absolutely my weakness. I'd be lying if I said they didn't have me hooked. And then Awaken 180 came into my life. I've been down every diet road there is, but this one is different. It's not just another diet. It's a total reset of how you see food. You know that carb craving we've all accepted as normal? That's gone. And believe me, I still like the good stuff, but the difference is I no longer need them. So when the server puts down that bread basket on the table, I just sit back and say, I'm good. And that feeling of control is all thanks to Awaken 180. I lost 40 pounds in 9 weeks on Awaken 180. Hacker lost more than 110. Belu's lost more than 20, and you can lose the weight too. It doesn't matter what your goal weight is. Awaken 180 weight loss will get you there quickly and safely. A clear path to success without disappointment. Awaken 180 has changed my life. It will change yours too. Give them a call, 844-346-1800, or go online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Hello, all you Jacksonville sports fans. Don here from Taco Lou. If you're in the mood for some great tacos, cold Dos Equis, maybe even a sip of some fine tequila, then the Lou is calling your name. Come out to Jack's Beach and experience what many have dubbed the #1 taco in the 904. There are plenty of great taco joints in town, and we're proud to have been around for this long, and we have only you, the fine people of Jacksonville, to thank for helping us grow and become who we are today. Cheers to you, Jacksonville, and thank you from the Lou crew. Taco Lou in Jacksonville Beach.
Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. If you're dreaming of putting in a pool this year, choosing the right company is the most important decision you'll make. I've trusted Stanley Pools to build my pool, renovate my pool, and maintain my pool. Stanley Pools has been the best in the business since 1988, and they're still family-owned. Call them today at 904-269-7277 or find them online at StanleyPoolsFL.com. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
AA Automotive helps keep your vehicle in dependable and safe condition. Call Sam, Harry, or Joe, and they'll check your brakes, tires, fluids, electric, and motor, so your ride runs smooth on the road. That's AA Automotive on Richard Street.
It's the perfect day. You're just driving along, listening to your favorite music, the windows down. There's a cool breeze. Life is good. But wait, hold on a second. You're not wearing a seatbelt? You'd better put that on before that... Uh-oh, too late. Cops everywhere are stepping up enforcement, so you'd better buckle up or you will get caught. Sorry to ruin your day. Click it or ticket.
Funded by the Florida Department of Transportation. Fish know where to hide. Captain Kevin knows how to find them.
That's a big one.
Listen for the Wing Power Fishing Forecast Show. Brought to you by Awaken 180 Weight Loss and Royal Pest Services.
Thursday nights at 6.
On 1010XL AM.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
Jimerson Burr is a full-service, Florida-based commercial law firm that has experience and capabilities to handle any legal issue a business is confronted with. Learn more about what they can do for you at jimersonfirm.com. Right now, they're on their way to disrupt your life, make you uncomfortable, and rob you. Don't bother calling the police. They can't help. That's right. Summer heat and humidity are about to attack North Florida again. You know what to do. Call Mike Merritt. Mike Merritt's Heating and Air has a license to chill. When heat and humidity are attacking you, Mike Merritt provides a comfortable chill at a bargain price. Mike has been keeping North Florida comfortable for 30 years. Mike Merritt technicians are never paid commissions, meaning you'll never be pressured to buy something you don't need. And Mike Merritt knows cooling issues can arise anytime. They don't just happen during business hours. So Mike Merritt never charges overtime fees. When you need us, we're here for you. Remember, in the fight against heat and humidity, Mike Merritt has a license to chill. Visit merrittair.com. Florida license number CACO 50384.
Mia here for my friends at Closets by Design. It's been a few months since they built my custom closet. Even my family is obsessed. And with Father's Day right around the corner, why not surprise Dad with his own custom garage workspace? Tool storage, workbenches, the whole works. Closets by Design creates custom solutions for every space, lifestyle, and budget. That includes Dad's. Call to schedule your free in-home consultation and receive 40% off plus an additional 15% off. Visit closetsbydesign.com.
Hi, I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. Since 1977, we've been Jacksonville's local family jeweler with a beautiful selection of fine jewelry and certified diamonds. But we're also Jacksonville's leading buyer of gold and silver and diamonds from the public. Gold has recently hit an all-time high at almost $3,000 per ounce. Pay bills, buy something fun. Now is the time to sell your gold for cash and get top dollar or trade it in for a new piece and get even more value at Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville. In summertime, it really can stretch out most of the year because we love the warm temperatures here in the Sunshine State. Greg, give them an idea of what Honda has to offer.
They are all over the board. They've got Honda scooters, Honda motorcycles, we've got Honda boats, we've got Honda side-by-sides. So whatever you like, we've got it.
That means adventure is waiting.
That's right, and we're ready for you.
In the showroom, you can find all that Honda has to offer on Atlantic near Regency or check out Cycles of Jacksonville's Facebook page.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Appears here that
right guard is going to be your position. Just your thoughts on being able to make that transition. I've seen your snap count. It's the least amount of pro snaps that you play.
Yeah, no, it's great. I'm excited for that opportunity. I've always been wherever they need me. That's where I'll go play. But if they need me at right guard, I'm happy to play that, be as great as I can be, and win some games.
Yeah, and that's what this franchise is trying to turn around and win some games.
We're just trying to win some games, bring what I could bring to the table, bring technique, bring hard work, bring the guys together, and go win some Super Bowls.
This is XL Primetime, brought to you by Florida Home AC. Now that's cool on 1010XL.
That was the one and only truth teller, Rick Ballou, interviewing new Jaguars right guard Patrick McCarry after day one of OTAs yesterday. And it's interesting, quote, bring technique, bring hard work, bring the guys together, go win some Super Bowls. Plural. Hey, I don't mind that talk.
No.
I don't mind that at all, man. I like that a lot better than I will never, ever, ever forget this, by the way. At the end, near the end of that complete tank of the 23 season, it was probably the second to the last game. It wasn't the last loss. Evan Ingham's ask Evan Ingham, who was one of the best guys in that team. Clearly one of the, if not the hardest worker on that team. What's wrong? And the look on his face was, and he goes, I don't know. I just don't know. And it's just, I mean, I'd much rather hear that. The idea, Leon, of let's go, do something here. Let's do something different. Than I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know I'm not sure he knows what he's walked himself into with this team. All right, let's just be honest with you. All right, but he has the right mindset and approach. I mean,
he's got the Ravens mindset.
Yeah, he's got the Ravens mindset. You walk into that building to the left of you say it says play like a Raven. And what are the Ravens known for? Championships. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, he's come from an organization that has a culture, that has an identity. All right. And he's coming here and he wants to change the mindset. You got to change the mindset of the team first and foremost. And I'm pretty sure there's not too many guys that come here and talk about winning Super Bowls. But if you're going to change what this team has been, everybody collectively has got to be bought in to what's going on. New regime, new coaching staff, new identity, all that kind of stuff. That's the only way you're going to win. And then now, once you say that stuff, now you got to put the work in. You got the direction. Now you got to put the work in, and I think that he knows that he's ready to work, and he hope he has the guys that are going to follow suit behind him.
Right. Look, I don't want to be the wet blanket here, but Mitch Morse came from the Bills. Darnell Savage came from the Packers. Darby came from the Ravens.
Yeah.
So they tried that.
They tried it already.
They tried that last year.
They did.
Unfortunately, Trent Baalke chose the wrong guys.
He did, absolutely. Well, that was still the funk. This is the new car smell, Matt Hayes. New car smell.
Hey, you're the one that said I'm not sure he knows what he's getting into.
He doesn't. He doesn't. But through his words, he's willing to change his mindset. He's willing to work and show the direction of what this team needs to do.
You remember the Herschel Walker trade, right?
Right.
Well, of course, so all the draft picks were tied into the guys that they traded for Herschel, right?
Right.
Coming off a great football team. They felt that Herschel was the key to the whole thing, that for them to finish it off. Guys that came with us, one guy ended up with us out of that 5. The rest were all draft picks.
So speaking of the draft picks, okay? And that's a great segue, actually. And I wanted to get into Bill Belichick, but I don't think we're going to because I think this is much better. If you start looking at these guys, these draft picks, okay, a guy like Wyatt Milam, who is he's a dog, Leon, okay? A guy like Travis Hunter, who is a unicorn. A guy like Caleb Ransaw, who's a big hitter, a guy that can run. A guy like Jack Kaiser, who's a guy who's a 235-pound, big run-stuffing linebacker. If you get those 4 guys, those 4 young guys, those 4 rookies to take jobs.
Yeah, I do.
What does that? What kind of thunderbolt does that send through that locker room?
Yeah, I mean that's that's what they need to do. I mean, the one thing about those guys is they don't know that funk you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know that funk. They're young guys that want to come in here and do something special, and let's roll. Let's get as many of those guys out as we can. Now, that doesn't mean that we're not going to take 2 or 3, 4, 5, 6 ball games to kind of get going. If there's a lot of those guys, they're rookies. But at the same time, guess what? All that stuff rubs off. Energy rubs off. Confidence rubs off. I don't think any of those guys you just talked about are going to come in here thinking they're not going to play. As a matter of fact, I'm hearing that Kaiser might be the best one of all of them. He reminds me of Tom McManus. He came out. Difference is McManus wasn't drafted.
None of that. There's nothing wrong with being reminded of Tom McManus.
No, you're right. But when he came out, he was this, he was that, he was this and that. The only thing they didn't say about him was that he was going to start at middle linebacker because he was a football player. That's what you're hoping they're getting out of this bunch coming in here. When you talk to the guys at Tulane, guys, Ransaw,
football player,
no question about it. He's coming in here. He's ready to play. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, we talked to Neil Brown.
Yeah,
and he said he's going to be the toughest guy on the team. He will be the toughest guy on the team.
Yeah. Now, everybody's says good things about their guys, but they made everybody we've talked to about that specific kid have all said, including Monheim, the guy from SC, you can talk about a guy without calling him the next best thing to sliced bread.
Right.
Okay? And they talk about him like they're sliced bread. These guys have got something to them. That's what we're hoping. And that, obviously, they're pretty talented guys as well. So we'll see what happens.
So, Leon, in that locker room, the funk is there. There's no doubt. Those guys have been losing. So I guess intimidated is not the right word. But what happens if 4 rookies go in there and win jobs? Just go in there and flat out play better than the guys in front of them and win jobs. One of them's definitely going to, and that's Travis Hunter. Probably 2 of them definitely going to do it. And Travis Hunter and Wyatt Milam. Ransaw's got a very good job, a very good opportunity. So does Kaiser. What happens if 4 of those guys go in there and take jobs? What kind of thunderbolt will that send through the locker room?
Well, I mean, it's gonna shake the tree for sure, because a lot of those guys that are in that locker room are from the old regime, and they're replaceable, is what it's gonna say. You got 4 rookies from this regime's draft that comes in and takes jobs away. That means that everybody else is up for it too. Maybe not this year, maybe next year.
Yeah,
right.
That's what it's saying. It's saying that all you lifeline Jaguars could get your walking papers, and I'm okay with that. And it could be some guys with contracts that this organization. I mean, depending on what they look like at the end of the season, whatever their record is, or whatever, guys who got these big time deals, you might find a draft pick that's replaceable to where you can move a guy and get you some capital, because that's what you need to foundationally. If you want your team to have any success, you got to build through the draft. All right, you absolutely had to build through the draft. And if you were given these big-time contracts and these guys aren't producing at the level that you expect them of, then you know what you do? You move them. And then you find a draft pick to replace them. That's how you build your team. That's how you build the core of your team. That's how you build the core of your team. And if you look at this, you look at what they're going after, and Coach can attest to this when he was at the Cowboys, they're going after big and fast.
That's right.
Big and fast. That's the Cowboys for who they are, because they want you big, fast, and physical.
Yeah, Jimmy, I've got to say this. I got another thing to say, but I've got to say the one thing about Jimmy. Jimmy, when we were recruiting, and it's a little different in the NFL, but when we were in recruiting, I'd bring a kid up, and he'd say to me, "Okay, how big is he? Whatever. How fast is he? Whatever." He never looked at a film of the guy. Okay, then sign him. I mean, we'll sign him.
Right.
That's exactly his deal. So Leon is right on that.
Well, listen, freshman year, we're out there doing work. I'm recruited as an offensive lineman. I run my 40, and Coach Keel had to lie to Jimmy on what my 40 was, or I would have been a D tackle.
Exactly.
I ran like a 4.9 something, right? So Jimmy Johnson's running to Coach Keel saying, "Certainly, like he ran kind of fast there, right?"
Yeah.
And he's running the Keel, right? And Tony Wise is behind him saying,
Don't
Wave
tell
him off.
Don't
Basically
tell him.
tell a lie. So Jimmy said, "Hey, Coach, what did Leon run that 40 in?" He ran. It was 5.2, Coach. Oh, 5.2. Okay,
He's an offensive
he's
lineman.
offensive lineman.
Yeah.
But Coach Keogh told me I ran a 4.9 something. If Jimmy had known I ran a 4.9, so I probably would have moved to D line.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not a D line.
No.
You're not a D tackle.
But you know what you were talking about? The other thing I wanted to say is what you were talking about a minute ago. They've already shown that to these veterans. Evan Ingram.
Yeah,
Evan
that's true.
Ingram.
That's true.
Is not here.
That's true.
Because he's not going to be there when we're good. It might have been this year. It might have been next year. But he's not going to be there. And that's their approach. We're going to bring in guys that are going to replace these guys because they were 5 and whatever.
Right.
And the year before they were whatever.
Right.
We're not going to be 5 and 11 here. 2 years from now, we're not going to be 5 and
You're
whatever.
giving them one extra win, by the way. It's 4-13.
Whatever it is. Listen, whatever it is, it wasn't very good. Let me put it that way.
No. But to your point is, look, they're laying the law down, and eventually, I'm telling you right now that nothing that they do during camp or even leading up to camp, as far as releasing people or moving people,
would surprise you.
Would surprise me at all.
Absolutely.
Nothing at all. I mean,
agree.
Anything other than moving Trevor Lawrence or moving Brian Thomas, anything else, I'd be like, that doesn't shock me at all, at all.
Yep. I really think the offensive line could be completely different than what we're looking at.
I mean, if Fred Johnson does win that job at left tackle, you're looking at potentially new left tackle, new left guard, new center, new right guard, and the one
Maybe
guy
the
in
right tackle.
the right tackcle if he's holding on, right?
Yeah.
We'll find out.
We'll find out.
There'll be some. They're going to have to earn the job. There's a lot of pretty decent players there.
Let me tell you something. That's a complete turnaround from a year ago of, we're good with where we are.
We're good enough.
We're good with where we are. Mm-hmm. All right, one more segment to go. We'll come back and finish it up. It's XLP.
1010XL is multimedia. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube.
You can't buy this kind of media exposure.
1010XL, maximum media exposure.
Are you ready to step up to luxury?
Check out the power of our exciting 2025 lineup, including the Lyric, IQ, Optique, and the stunning Visti.
With over 15 electric Cadillacs in stock and more on the way, it's the perfect time to trade in your Tesla and embrace luxury with a twist.
At Randy Marion, there are no tariffs. Visit Randy Marion Cadillac on Southside Boulevard, Jacksonville, and see why our electric lineup turns heads.
Don't miss out. Drive Cadillac, electric or gas. We have both. Plus tax tag title $9.99 admin fee and resist all on approved credit.
I'm Chris Campione. Auto accidents can leave you feeling lost and overwhelmed. But at Campione Law, we're here to guide you with a personal touch through every step of the process. We don't get paid unless you get paid. CampioneLaw.com.
Feeling the Florida heat? Make sure your car's AC is ready with help from Big Chief Tire. Frank Frangie here. Right now, get $50 off all AC services at any of their 5 Jacksonville locations. Whether it's a quick recharge or a full repair, their expert technicians will keep you cool and comfortable on the road. Visit WeKeepJacksRollin.com or call 904-932-0950 to schedule your AC service today and take advantage of this limited one-time offer. Big Chief Tire keeps Jacks rolling.
Florida Home AC, the official AC partner of the Jaguars. Make them your AC partner with honest cost estimates before they start the work with no hidden fees. Call 777-4300 for Florida Home AC.
Jumbo Shrimp Baseball is home this week at the newly renovated 5-Star Ballpark. The Jumbo Shrimp take on the AAA St. Louis Cardinals. Per in the park tonight, followed by Wear It Home Wednesday t-shirt giveaway, presented by Renewal by Anderson and Better Health. Baseball all weekend. Tickets start at just $5. JackShrimp.com for tickets. Jumbo Shrimp Baseball, affordable, family fun.
This date in sports history is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On May 20th, 1991, Michael Jordan of the Chicago Bulls was named the NBA's MVP for the second time in his career. That same year, Jordan led the Bulls to their first NBA championship.
How likely is it to live to be 100 years old? The answer coming up.
When you file a claim with Southern Oak Insurance, we schedule one of our trusted vendors to work directly with you, which means a faster claim resolution. Find out more at southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
In the United States, about 5% of women live to be 100, but only 1.8% of men.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
Join us at Miller Electric May 29th from 4 to 7 p.m. We're on the lookout for talented people, from entry level to experienced electricians and foremen, security system installation and service technicians, fire alarm system service technicians, and both senior and junior VDV technicians. This is your chance to get hired on the spot. Meet the managers, indulge in delicious food, and snag some awesome giveaways. Don't miss out on this electrifying chance to power up your career. Miller Electric, May 29th, 4 to 7 p.m., 6805 South Point Parkway.
Are your monthly bills keeping you up at night, wondering how you got so behind? Hey, I'm Roger Moore, CEO of Loan Pronto. I get it. Life is expensive now. Insurance, groceries, cars. And then there's the credit card debt with those obscene interest rates. It's time to regain your financial freedom. And that's what we offer at Loan Pronto, using the power of the equity in your home. We have multiple ways to get you the cash you need, and most clients close in 2 weeks or less, and many don't even require an appraisal. And listen, rates have been plummeting recently. We just locked a homeowner in with an APR in the low fives, saving her over $1,000 per month, and put $10,000 in her pocket. Life-changing money. Whether you're drowning in debt, have a nosebleed rate you got last year, need home improvements, or simply need cash in your pocket, we can help you accomplish this goal in record time. Call us today and get started with no hard credit pull, just a conversation. LoanPronto.com, 904-999-1508. LoanPronto.com. That's LoanPronto.com.
Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Hacker here, taking you back exactly 1 year this week. I was only 9 weeks into Awaken 180 and had already dropped 54 pounds. Seriously, that's like shedding a first grader in just over 2 months. That's wild, right? Fast forward to today, 2 months into my maintenance, and I'm still down over 115 pounds. Not a pound put back on. It's like Awaken 180 gave my weight a permanent eviction notice. Now listen up. We all want to have goals, but sometimes they seem to be far-fetched. This one won't be. Dropping 40 pounds by the 4th with Awaken 180. It's doable when you have a proven program with an excellent coach by your side. Weekly weight loss, enjoying the ride, and reaching your goal. We all did it. No reason you can't. Set your goal, make the call, and reach 40 by the 4th with the solution for weight loss. Online at awaken180weightloss.com or call 844-346-1800.
As down payments get bigger, millions of renters across America feel like they'll never be able to buy a home. So instead of lowering expectations, Rocket Mortgage is lowering down payments to 1% for eligible home buyers with One Plus, helping more renters become owners. Call 800-4ROCKET or visit rocket.com to get a head start on your starter home.
Rocket Mortgage, LLC, licensed in all 50 states. NMLSconsumeraccess.org, number 3030.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, the cool down from the cool guys at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Fast, reliable, and honest service since '87.
All right, my takeaway is that all the players on this Jaguar team, they got the bag, and they've got to explain their lackluster play as of late. In other words, you got some explaining to do to the fans, to the organization, to your teammates. You got to play. You got to play to your standard or get called out. And you got to take you've got to take it to heart and take accountability for you. When you get the bag, that's what you sign up for. You're underneath the microscope. You're going to be assessed on how you play moving forward. So do something about it, absolutely do something about it.
My takeaway is I want to congratulate Tom Coughlin for what he's done with the J Fund. We've talked a lot of Jaguar ball today, but that was a heartwarming situation. There was a young man there last night. He was 14 years old. It's cancer-free, that they've taken care of the family since he was like 2 years old. And that Tom, when he told us how much they made at the award ceremony, he said, my greatest success is sitting in the back, and there was that kid. And that's what it's all about. That's what this community has done, and they deserve the Jaguars to be a darn good football team.
Yeah, amen to that. Yeah, I mean, just a phenomenal every year how much this community supports the J Fund, and it's a worthy cause. My takeaway, We didn't talk about it, but I have to bring it up right now because it's just absolutely blows my mind. There's a story today in the New York Times, kind of an expose on Bill Belichick and his new girlfriend, Jordan Hudson, and we all know about how he calls her his muse. In the story, it explains that apparently the reason why North Carolina was not getting the Hard Knocks from HBO, they were negotiating with HBO to do Hard Knocks at North Carolina in their camp, was because Jordan Hudson wanted to own a piece of the show in return for North Carolina going on Hard Knocks. This is not going to end well in North Carolina, everyone. There's no way that this ends well in North Carolina.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the crash. I can't turn away. It's going to happen.
Remember, they're undefeated.
Yeah, they are. They are, absolutely.
The women are undefeated as far as I'm concerned.
Always. And but it's almost like this is like, it's like Lance, and I'm waiting for the crash. It's, I joked yesterday with the girls from Helmets and Heels on the Cross about this new show about Mormon wives, and it's so terrible, but you can't stop watching it. They're so mean to each other in this, and it's just so much. Oh my gosh! If you got, and I know we talk all the time about watching like thrillers and dramas and everything, but if you watch that thing, you watch one of those shows. It's like the Real Housewives of New Jersey, but it's Mormon girls.
I don't want that in my spirit,
bro.
You have to keep it,
bro.
That's how this.
You can't stop watching it, and that's how I feel with Belichick. Like I can't get enough of this because it's just only a matter of time before it just completely implodes.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate because I think he's a great coach. But again, I will say this over and over till the cows come home. You went through 2 hiring cycles in the NFL, 2. And not one team hired the greatest coach, alleged greatest coach in the history of the game. One interviewed him, the Falcons. Not one team hired this guy. And I refuse to believe that it's because Brady won the titles, not Bill Belichick. I refuse to believe that's it. I think it's because none of those NFL franchises wanted this nonsense around them.
Yeah.
Wanted this circus around them.
Well, there was kind of the same thing with the situation with Shador. I think that was an issue.
I do too.
If you take a guy, if he's in the first, second round, he's got to play. If you take him in the third and fourth round, you got to stick with him because you pay him money. If you take him in the fifth round, if there's a problem with the whole operation, you let him go. So
nobody wants that circus.
No.
I know someone who does want a circus, though.
Now, the 2-minute drill. Serviced by Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. Locally owned and operated. We're your neighbors. CoolCatsJacks.com.
The coolest cats in town.
Carlin, I don't think I've asked you this yet. It's strange to me that you went through 2 full NFL hiring cycles. Only one team even interviewed Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
No one hired him. They alleged greatest coach ever.
Mm-hmm.
How does that happen? Is he that tainted right now because of Jordan Hudson?
I don't think at the time Jordan Hudson was the hang-up. I think at the time it was that you were going to have to blow out your entire front office too, that
Right.
he wanted control over everything. And I think there was legitimate concerns from owners on, is that a good idea for us?
The first hiring year.
The first time around. Now, I mean, I don't know how long he's been with the girlfriend. I mean, I think there's reports that they've been together for
3 years,
even going back to that point. So I don't know how much that played into it. I wouldn't think an NFL owner would be overly worried about, a personal relationship that a prospective coach would have, particularly one with Belichick's resume. I think it was the fact that Belichick wanted everything.
Complete control.
I mean, complete control, everybody out. And I just think that gave owners pause, with obviously him probably only having a shelf life of, 3-4 years, to make that kind of a commitment when that it's a short-term thing. So, but it's been fascinating. And have you seen, I will say this, don't be surprised if we get to Halloween and the story is done a 180, because look at North Carolina's schedule. Oh, yeah. The 5 of us could go 7-5 with that schedule. North Carolina doesn't play anyone except Clemson. Yeah. They play one tough game. So, and they've got athletes. I mean, that's never been North Carolina has always got pretty good athletes for that conference. So you add in somebody that obviously knows the game as well as he does. Now, it does appear like he's having a complete breakdown of his life. But if he is somewhat still on the level, I mean, they could go win 9 games there because they play no one.
Or, and I'm just going to throw this out there, or what it said in the New York Times today that she's telling her friends that they're going to be married in December. Or you've got a 24-year-old woman.
You can't coach Saturday against NC State. We're getting married.
Who literally takes control.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely with you. I mean, I thought Belichick still had something left in the tank. I thought, they thought it would have made sense, for an NFL team to give him a chance. But I mean, for where we are right now with this story, it's hard. It's hard to find a lot of optimism that this is going to go well for North Carolina until you look at the schedule.
Yeah.
It's the easiest schedule.
Yeah.
I think you could draw up.
Yeah.
And again, they do play Clemson.
But
that's one game. They have one game out of 12 against what I think will be not just a team that's ranked, a team that a voter would even remotely considering ranking.
They have an iffy quarterback and their offensive line is so I mean, it's going to be fun. It'll be fun to watch a playoff.
Yeah,
what do you guys got going today?
Yeah, we're going to have an outstanding Frangie show coming up. Lee Humphrey will join us at 4:20 to talk Boogie Flan to the Gators. Lee obviously was on the back-to-back national title team, sharpshooter, and is the color analyst for the Florida radio broadcast. So
Boogie's a really good player, by the way.
Oh, that's an unbelievable game.
Had he not got hurt, he probably could have left for the NBA.
He was averaging 15 points and 6 assists a game before the hand injury.
Yeah.
So, he's with Todd Golden.
Yeah.
Who I mean that could be lethal. If Alex Condon goes back, to me, it's not can they repeat. It's almost to the level of the 04s that second year, where it's like, no, the expectation is you're going to win it again. If Alex Condon comes back with the players they've brought in and returning that entire front court, I mean, it's definitely Final Four or bust.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, you shouldn't be. Put it this way: adding Boogie means you should not be worried about Aberdeen. Boogie is a legit dude.
Yeah,
Boogie's a legit dude, right?
Oh yeah, that's the easiest upgrade in the history of college basketball.
Right,
and
right.
Denzel Aberdeen's a good player.
Yeah, he did some things for him.
But he's not this guy.
He's not Boogie.
Yeah. So yeah, fun Frangie show coming up.
All right, awesome.
Thanks, guys.
Plus, we just love saying Boogie too. That's another.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Just keep saying Boogie forever.
Yeah.
All right, Coach, we appreciate you. You're the best, man. You break it down like no one else.
I appreciate it. I love being here. You guys know that, and you do a great job here with this show.
All right, for Leon, for JJ, for the vacationing Joe Coward, you got the Frangie Show up next. After that, you got Baloo, and of course, Hacker deep in the night.
Now, another